So let's go to Exodus chapter 24. Let's see if they can stomach this. So Imami, you went to Deuteronomy chapter 4, verses 15 and following. And before you got to Deuteronomy, you would have came across the book of Exodus, correct?
Yes, you want to point at face to face? Moses observed God face to face?
Yeah, not only Moses, but others. So we're going to see a theophany of God, right? So let me know when you're ready.
Yes, I'm on Exodus 24.
Okay. I'm going to start at verse 1. Then he said to Moses, go up to Yahweh. Okay. Now notice this is Yahweh speaking to Moses, telling him to go up to Yahweh. Double Yahweh. That's why your Targums will say Memra. You and Aaron and Nadab and Abihu and 70 of Israel's elders bow in worship at a distance. So it's Moses, his brother's sons, and 70 of Israel's elders. Moses is alone to approach Yahweh, but the others are not to approach, and the people are not to go up with him. Moses came and told the people all the commands of Yahweh and all the ordinances. Then all the people responded with a single voice, we will do everything that Yahweh has commanded us. And Moses wrote down all the words of Yahweh. Once again, Allah didn't give a book to Moses. Moses wrote down what Yahweh revealed to him. He rose early the next morning, set up an altar and 12 pillars for the 12 tribes of Israel at the base of the mountain. Then he sent out young Israelite men, and they offered burnt offerings and sacrificed bulls as fellowship offerings to the Lord. Moses took half the blood and set it in a basin. Once again, once we look at this covenant and we see how this covenant was cut and how it was ratified, it's always done with blood. That's another reason why I reject Islam. The other half of the blood he splattered on the altar. He then took the covenant scroll and read it aloud to the people. They responded, we will do and obey all that Yahweh has commanded. Moses took the blood, splattered it on the people. Thank God for the blood of Jesus. And said, this is the blood of the covenant that the Lord has made with you concerning all these words. Then Moses went up with Aaron, Nadab, and Abihu, and the 70 of Israel's elders, and they saw the God of Israel. Beneath his feet was something like a pavement made of lapis lazuli, as clear as the sky itself. God did not harm the Israelite nobles. They saw him, and they ate and drank. The Lord said to Moses, come up to me on the mountain and stay there so that I may give you the stone tablets with the law and the commandments I have written for their instruction. So Moses arose with his assistant Joshua and went up to the mountain of God. He told the elders, wait here for us until we return to you. Aaron and Hur are here with you. Whoever has a dispute should go to them. When Moses went up the mountain, the cloud covered it. The glory of the Lord settled on Mount Sinai, and the cloud covered it for 6 days. On the 7th day, he called to Moses from the cloud. The appearance of Yahweh's glory to the Israelites was like a consuming fire on the mountaintop. Moses entered the cloud as he went up the mountain, and he remained on the mountain 40 days and 40 nights. They ate and drank with the God of the universe. So, once again, the millennial kingdom is the reign of the Messiah, and that's nowhere mentioned in the Quran. The Quran has no knowledge of it. It has no knowledge of multiple resurrections and multiple judgments. Therefore, as a follower of the true prophets, I have to reject Islam. I have to reject its prophet.
I have several points here. First of all, in Deuteronomy 4, it clarifies that it's actually talking about that events, the events that they observed, that they were with God at the Horeb. But in Deuteronomy 18, it's written that then from verse 14, actually, or 18. Just a moment, let me see. Raise a prophet like me, Horeb. Just a moment. I see. I read from 14. The nations you will dispose, listen to those who practice sorcery or divination, but as for you, the Lord your God has not permitted you to do so. The Lord your God will raise up for you a prophet like me from among you, from your fellow Israelites. You must listen to him, for this is what you asked of the Lord your God at Horeb on the day of the assembly, when you said, let us not hear the voice of the Lord or our God, nor see this great fire anymore, or we will die. Okay, that's right. What you read from Exodus, that's right. But here in Deuteronomy 18, actually 16, is they asked them not to do that anymore, because they will die. Because of, it's the verse you are laughing. It's the verse in Deuteronomy 18, 16. So
Okay, so let me address that. Number one, we read from Exodus chapter 24. Okay, what that's talking about chapter 19 and 20, when he came down on the mountain. Chapter 24 is later on. That's what the people said on the day he came down on Mount Sinai, chapter 20. So once again, I'm showing you that you're not chronologically reading anything. So I read all of chapter 24, and you must have heard it and just said, I can't accept that. And then you tried to go somewhere else to try to negate it. Okay. And in doing so, you made a fool out of yourself, because what is being described here is what the children of Israel said days earlier, when Yahweh originally came down on Mount Sinai and Moses came down with the tablets. Okay, that's when they made that claim. They didn't make it afterward, when Moses took up the 70 elders with Aaron and his sons. This is just a perennial problem with you guys, right? That's why you're never gonna get anything until you take that freaking ridiculous Islamic belief that you have and put it on the shelf. Read the Bible as if Islam didn't exist. That's the way I read the Tanakh. When I read it as if Christ never existed, in anticipation of coming. That way I don't make mistakes like you're making now. So what everybody's saying is how he's going to Deuteronomy. Deuteronomy is a final sermon by Moses right before he dies, right, on Mount Horeb, right? And what I'm doing is I'm going back. I'm trying to go through these revelations chronologically so he can see them. But he doesn't care about that. He just cares about trying to justify his prophet, who clearly contradicted Moses and the later prophets. It's one of those things where it's like you almost don't really particularly have time to show this guy, but he's showing that he has a knowledge of the Bible, so I'm not going to let him off the hook. He talks as if he's like asking questions like, I don't know these things, but he's already got his mind made up. He's already gone through the Bible to try to figure out a way to try to justify rejecting the truth of the nature of the Messiah. And he's making a fool out of himself. So I'm saying, Imami, what did you get out of chapter 24 of Exodus? Did you see that they ate and drank with Yahweh? Did you see that? Yes or no?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, so why are you trying to argue against it?
Because after that, something happened, and it might have some influences. After that, people decide not to not to experience dance anymore. This is, because,
but it was experienced prior to that time. Chapter 18 of Genesis, Yahweh is eating with Abraham.
Okay.
It happens after that.
Right now,
Chapter 9, verse 1, the prophet Amos sees Yahweh standing by the altar. He's talking to Yahweh, who's standing by the altar. Isaiah chapter 6 sees him sitting on a throne in the temple. The glory of God was as that of the appearance of a man, Ezekiel chapter 1. Every manifestation of God that man saw was God as a man, his image, his likeness. Ezekiel and them didn't make God out to be a man. That's how God manifested himself. So we didn't make an image of God. He comes in his own image. We image God.